I hope you joined us this last week as we started a little bit of a new focus. We want to talk all year long about being under the influence of Jesus and what it would look like if we were, and what kind of habits can we build so we are under his influence. We're talking in this focus how not to get lost, about getting lost spiritually, emotionally, relationally, because we got lost financially. So the premise of our series really is where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Words of Jesus. Jesus spoke more about money than he did heaven or hell, even more about money than he did salvation. Why would he do that? Because money and the grip that it can get on us and distract us is the number one competitor to our being well connected and attached to Jesus. It distracts us from what's most important by making us think something material is more important than God. So we want to encourage one another that this is a great season to invite others to really think about, are you lost? Or maybe you're getting lost. I said three things that we need to kind of differentiate. We need to differentiate between getting lost and being lost. We need to know the difference. Oftentimes, the point about this is we don't know that we're lost until we're bankrupt. We don't know that we're lost until there's a foreclosure on our home. We don't know that we're lost until we want a divorce because of the financial stress in our marriage. That's like being lost. What we've got to figure out is how did I get so lost? So we can begin to recognize that we get lost one wrong choice at a time, one incremental decision at a time. And pretty soon we veered off course just a little bit, but pretty soon it accumulatively adds up to serious trouble. We want to do some course correction before there's a crisis on our course. We want to know the difference between how we start and how we finish. Most of the time we think, hey, I started out so well. How did I end up here? Just because you start well doesn't mean you're going to finish well. God wants us to recognize it doesn't matter how you got started. Ultimately, what matters is how you finish. And so, how are you doing? You started off so well financially. How did you get to this place? Well, because of some lost choices. Whenever I get under the influence of the world, that the world's desires begin to become my desires, whenever what the world says you got to have to be special, what you got to have to be important, how many valuables you have to be valuable. When I start getting distracted by what the world says about resources, I'm going to get lost. So I got to learn that I got to tell the difference between how I see life and how God sees life. When I do, all of a sudden I start correcting my course and I start getting back on course. Truth is, what God has said about resources is so clear that if I really know Jesus and pay attention to what he said, I'm not going to get lost. I'm going to be able to do the adjustment in the short run so I don't get lost in the long run. I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll invite a friend. Share this video. Be with us next week as we talk about how to see stuff like God sees our stuff. Because the principle is when I see as God sees, because of the time I spend with Jesus, I will do as God desires. When I see as God sees, because of my authentic relationship with God, I'll do as God desires. So let us help you build a daily, authentic relationship with God so you see stuff like he does. I'll see you this weekend.